27 BCE, the enemies of the Roman Republic have been destroyed, leaving one man as the sole master of its vast empire. That man was Augustus, Julius Caesar's adopted son, the avenger of the murdered dictator and the defender of the Italian order. In a monumental event, he went before the Senate in the Curia and addressed the most remarkable speech.
I am well aware, fathers, that some of you will find the decision which I have made incredible. You can see for yourselves that it is in my power to rule you for life. All opposition has either been liquidated or has been reconciled, and both you and the people are enthusiastically in favor of my remaining at your head. Despite all this, I shall rule you no longer. Augustus and Cassius Dio, Roman History.
This gesture was immediately rejected by the Roman Senate, leading to a period of despotic rule and subjugation to an imperial household. From a state republic whose political system was derived from checks and balances across class lines to Augustus's principate, we trace the legal precedents established by Rome's first stable autocratic ruler.
It was January 1st, 27 BCE, that Augustus went before the Senate. Though he stated that he was surrendering power, he instead used his position to control Roman politics and allow himself legal precedence to rule as a despot. Here's how. By not monopolizing the highest post, but insisting to occupy multiple magistracies at the same time, thus allowing him tantamount dictatorial power. That granted him power without an equal or superior, the supposed first amongst equals. Without restrictions and with the appearance of normal magistrates, Augustus was able to rule the entire empire in all its mechanisms.
That's pretty good.
The customary Roman political system was derived from a basic set of political offices. In descending order of power, we have consuls, praetors, tribunes, aediles, quaestors, and censors. The Senate was a permanent and hereditary appointment, and dictators were elected only in emergencies. By tradition, only one position was to be held at a time. A set political order for aspiring politicians forced them through the gamut from quaestors to consul. Around the time of 60 BCE, political appointments took a new course in the Roman world.
The whole point of consuls was that there were supposed to be two of them. They weren't supposed to be like kings. They weren't supposed to have absolute authority. So this principle of collegiality was extremely important, but it was no longer working in 52. Now you could have dictators. Once in a while there was a dictator elected, but this is completely different. Pompey held the sole consulship because elections could not be held that year, and he was appointed by the Senate. So something has ceased to function, and what's happening is there's so much violence going on that elections can't be held.
The upheaval in the Roman world superseded even the time-honored traditions of the Republic. It was with this lawlessness that, after the death of Pompey the Great, Julius Caesar became the sole ruler of the Roman world. Unfortunately for him, a large faction of traditional Republicans still lived and plotted to take his life.
Those who had come prepared for the murder all bared their daggers and hemmed Caesar in on every side. So Caesar was done to death, and Brutus and his party marched all together in one body from the Senate house to the Capitol. They called out to the people that liberty had been restored. Plutarch followed the Roman Republic.
The conspirators were branded enemies for killing the head of the state, despite the means that he employed to attain it. And so the fallen dictator's adopted son, Augustus, headed the march and defeated the senators. The reason they were allowed to do this was the concept of imperium.
It meant originally two kinds of power: the power to command an army, the power to condemn people to death. That is, it was military power and judicial power, and this is very much how the Romans perceived their rule.
The Lex Titia, which was the formal law allowing the Second Triumvirate Imperium, broke down when Octavian and Antony fought for supreme control of the entire empire. This was to be the last step of lawlessness, and it was in Augustus's favor once the last ballista had fired. It was only a short while after this that Augustus went before the Senate to announce his abdication. But as can be attained from history, this is exactly what did not happen.
Augustus was the first official Roman emperor, and as Tacitus reports, at home there was tranquility, the magistrates retained their titles. The young men had been born since the Battle of Actium, most of the older generation during the civil wars. How many were left who could have ever seen the Republic? Thank you for your attention.